know that millions of Americans literally have no wealth? This causes people to struggle financially. What's up, YouTube? It's Marsha, the Money Mogul, back with another YouTube video. And in this video, I guess I would say it's more educational, more informational. As y'all know, I started my personal financial journey or financial freedom journey back in 2018. Since then, I've just been plugged into money, everything finance. So that is my strong suit. And today, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. Different types of investment options or asset accumulation, which is a way that you can actually build wealth. Some people think that the only way to build wealth is by hitting a jackpot or having a very high paid salary job. So some people only think you can get rich by getting, something passed down to you, or by hitting a jackpot, or just getting very lucky. And, some things do have to do with luck, blessings, things of that nature. But some of the things have to do with preparation. And when you prepare for those opportunities, then you have a greater chance of taking advantage of them. So before I get to this video, I just want you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I will be teaching you about investing, credit repair, debt elimination, taxes, those types of things. Everything personal finance is my strong suit. And here at Money Moguls, we empower entrepreneurs through financial literacy. So I might be using a lot of jargon or terms that you might not really understand, and I might define some of them and might not define other ones. So this is a great video that you can use as an information starter, but don't only solely rely on this, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a financial coach, and I offer consulting for people who are interested in investing their money in business and things of that nature. So to basically start off, I want to let y'all know, I don't sell investments or whatever. I market and give financial education. So I don't prefer to use one investment over the other. I'm not going to tell you that. This is all just general knowledge and how investments work and stuff like that. And this is what I teach my clients. So I have some notes here that I'm going to go over. So, did y'all know that millions of Americans literally have no wealth? This causes people to struggle financially. And attaining things like proper housing, health care, reliable transportation, quality education, and adequate retirement funds is a constant struggle. The lack of basic essentials for a comfortable lifestyle causes many people to endure unnecessary stress and frustration. Many other people who have these basic essentials also endure undue stress because they work on jobs they dislike. Okay, so if you're tired of working at a job that you hate, to buy things that you don't really necessarily like, to impress people that you don't give a fuck about, maybe asset accumulation is something you want to consider. Multiple streams of income. There are millions of people in America that do not have wealth. So with that being said, what is wealth? Wealth, well, by Webster's dictionary, is abundance of riches, resources, and valuable possessions. Abundant amount, okay? All goods and property, different things of wealth. I mean, you can be socially wealthy, you can be monetarily wealthy, you can be asset wealthy. There's many ways that you can obtain this monetary value, all right? So, of course, common sense would tell you that income producing assets, that provide income to take care of, basic needs and the lifestyle that you desire, then you're considered wealthy. So if you have the means to basically live the lifestyle that you want, then you're pretty much wealthy, right? Now, how much money, if you want to know how much wealth you have, what you should ask yourself is, how much money will I make from my assets next year if I don't work? That will determine if you're wealthy. If you can't go more than 6 months or a full year without having to work a job, you're not considered wealthy, right? So let me just put it in perspective for y'all. So person number one, $130,000. They spend all of that on clothes, shoes, jewelry, and cars. The person B, they buy a home for $130,000, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a middle-class neighborhood. Person C pays $130,000 a down payment on a 12-unit apartment building. You follow me? Appraised at $90,000. So 3 examples, same amount of money. Who used the money the best? You know what I'm saying? Who actually obtained wealth? Because wealth is not about how much you make, it's about how much you can keep. 2 main obstacles for people in becoming wealthy is, one, there are 2 things that are stopping people from obtaining wealth. Number 1 is the lack of education, financial literacy, poor education about finances. And number 2 is just the mentality around it. It's just the mindset about money, whatever you were taught as a kid in your household. So those 2 things, you can correct both. That's the good news, is that you can correct both of these obstacles. And it's the first one is probably not as hard as the second one may sound, because teaching yourself and educating yourself should actually shift your mindset. So the first one happens by you taking action, and the second one happens just automatically, subconsciously, and of course with needed effort. So most people do believe that, you could go to the bank and get financial advice from the banks, and you get a financial advisor, like, just save up your money, go to the bank, they'll tell you what to do. But if you really think about it, are the banks, are the people there telling you what's best for you and your investment journey, or are they just telling you what products to buy to make their establishment make more money, or so they can get a higher salary? So a lot of Americans get trapped in this game of capitalism, and being controlled by these economical systems and all of that. It just keeps pouring out slated information that's not really important, and everybody's looking like, what do I do? I don't know. One person told me to do this with my money, another person says this, do this with my money. So that then restricts people from actually taking action. I know that was me for a really long time. Good wealth mentality is knowing that wealth, the knowledge of wealth, and being able to obtain it to transform people's lives is why I do what I do. And it could really is a thin line between people capitalizing off people's ignorance and actually teaching the masses about how they can take advantage of what type of capitalistic society we live in. In order for you to basically obtain that wealth, the solution to those obstacles I mentioned is, first of all, educating yourself, getting the right education about finances. Number 2 is changing your mentality about money. Okay, I call myself the money mogul, not because I think I'm better and I just know everything about money. It's because that's the mentality I have about myself. I know how to acquire wealth. I know how to add value to whatever I'm involved in. I know how to use money. Money loves me. I love money. Not in that sense, but in a way where it's like, okay, I'm not afraid to talk about money. I'm not scared of losing money. And then 3rd is the possession of equity. So meaning purchasing income producing assets that make you money while you sleep. So 3 things: educate yourself. Once you educate yourself, shift your mentality, and then 3rd of all, start investing your money into those income producing assets so that you no longer have to work for the rest of your life. Now, some of these different investment options, right? There's so many out there, right? And when people come to me, they're ready to invest. And, I'm like, well, then you can go and get a mutual fund, index fund, you can get a brokerage account, or you can get bonds. And they're like, wait, what the hell is that? So I'm going to try to give you a basic high-level overview of these different investment options, okay? So stick with me. I'm going to go through them pretty fast, but you'll get the gist of them. And then, of course, if you have questions, drop them below. So first, cash equivalents. Your cash equivalents are your liquid assets. They're easily accessible. You can just go in your account, maybe take a transfer a day or 2 to get the money, right? So those are your cash equivalents, like your money market funds, savings accounts, and CDs. Now CDs are time restricted, so understand okay, yes, the money is tied up for a couple of months, but at least you know exactly when you'll get the money. So that's why it's considered a cash equivalent, right? Mutual funds are my favorite, right? Okay, number 2, you have bonds. Bonds, bonds can differ from corporate bonds, municipal bonds, mortgage-backed securities, U.S. government securities like zero coupon bond, note bonds. These are really they're risk. They're not. The company and the government basically is borrowing money. When it comes down to a bond, it's put like this: a company or the government is borrowing funds from the people, right? And they have higher rates, which can kind of, it has to do with the lower credit score. So Bonds, you can usually purchase bonds within a mutual fund, but bonds are separate. They are another type of investment option. Number 3, you have stocks. Now, stocks are, I would say, considered real assets, right? Or a derivative of a real asset. Okay, so stocks. Okay, when you think about stocks, there's companies, there's secondary, there's market cap, there's different size companies, right? But pretty much it's when a company goes from private to public, right? So you have the initial public offering where qualified investors get a chance to invest in that company, right? So we've seen some IPOs recently. I know Lyft, if I'm not mistaken, like maybe a year ago, Lyft went public. They had an IPO, so now you can purchase stock for Lyft. You know, at one point they were private. You can purchase stock or be an investor in that company. So you have different types of stock. You got common, preferred, blue chip, growth. Like basically the company has different levels of investors that they actually get money from. They might get money from bigger investors with more money, and then they'll have like the regular stocks that they give, which is common and preferred stocks to the public. Now you have market size companies that are very large and then small. Like Apple compared to Microsoft. Those are really big companies that majority of people will be aware of. But then you have some companies that you've never heard of that are like tech companies, like Qualcomm is one of them. I'm not sure if it's a small or mid cap, but I know it's definitely not large cap because a lot of people don't know what Qualcomm is. But you have different stock exchanges. You got the New York Stock Exchange, you got NASDAQ, you got S&P 500, you got the Dow. Indexes are a little different than exchanges, but the indexes are Dow. That's like your granddaddy stocks and stuff like that. And then S&P is like the top 500 companies. Next, you have real assets. Now, real assets is what we know about, what we can actually tangibly touch. Those are your real estates, your businesses, your collectibles, arts. Anything that you can pretty much sell physically and get money for is considered a real asset. You got books, CDs, tapes, anything where you're producing music, you're producing anything that can be sold, that's a real asset. Now, it's all limited upon making money from real assets comes down to 3 things. And it's really about your creativity, God, the Most High, and of course the marketplace, the economy. What is it that the people need? So you got to have those 3 things met. That's why real assets are the first thing that we choose as humans, but it's not the only thing we should rely on because it's limited by our creativity, and depending on your circumstances in life, like you might not be able to attack your goals the way you want to. So investing into a slower moving vehicle that makes you money might be the way to go. But nonetheless, stocks are a derivative of real assets. So you have a company that's a real asset, and then instead of actually partaking in the business, you just purchase a derivative of it, and you still make money that way. Because no matter what, as long as the board of directors, which are supposed to vouch for the investors, as long as they're directing the company in the right direction to make sure that investors make money, then you'll make money in the company. But of course, the real assets, you cannot control the economy, you can't control the marketplace. So that's where the risk comes from. All of these have risk associated with them. Now, the next couple of ones I'm going to go over, pretty basic, but still good to mention. You have your life insurance, you got term life, you got whole life, universal, where you get cash and insurance, right? And then like other life insurance, I would say is like life insurance, but it's a little different, and those are called annuities. You have the fixed ones and you have the variable annuities. I'm not going to go too much in detail, but look into that. Annuities is a certain type of life insurance that you can actually make money from, or take money out of or whatnot. Life insurance, like universal, you get insurance and cash. So with the universal life insurance, you get both. You get insurance and you get cash. With annuity, you focus more on being able to take money out of with still having insurance. Okay, now I have mutual funds. Mutual funds are about growth, aggressive growth. Income is very much balanced, and you can have bonds, sectors, indexes. It could be a lot of different group of different things that I just mentioned. Like it could be cash equivalents mixed with bonds, mixed with stocks. Like an index fund is managed by index fund is managed by somebody who understands those companies, and they manage actual index fund. So they pick the stocks and CDs and bonds, and they take that weight off of you. So let's just say you do decide to get a mutual fund. A mutual fund is basically a group of investors and a group of people that manage the portfolio. So all the investors, which would be us, we're putting our money into a pot, and then we're letting them divvy how that is gonna go based on what type of return we want. Like, you can get an 8% return, 12% return, but of course, the higher the return, the higher the risk, and the risk comes from basically companies that are not basically, that some companies can be undervalued, meaning the company is worth this much but it's undervalued because of whatever the stock market is at, or wherever the economy is at, or wherever the marketplace is at. So sometimes when you invest in certain type of vehicles, you have higher risk associated with them because the market can go anyway, but you have a higher return. So some of the other ones would be real estate. We all know about that. You have your real estate investment trust, and then you have your limited partnerships with real estate, and then you have those tax advantage accounts as well, which are Roth IRAs, 401ks, and SEP Simple. The difference between Roth IRA and a 401k, a Roth IRA is a individual retirement account. So an individual can open a retirement account. You don't have to be an employee to get an IRA. For a 401k, that's more so when you're an employee and your employer matches your investments. So you can have both. You can be an employee with a Roth IRA and a 401k, or you can have your 401. I say that the main thing is to focus on, if you want to pay taxes before, while you put your money into investments. The main thing to decide is if you want to pay taxes once you put the money in there or once you take the money out. Taxes are presumed to be higher in the future, so it would make sense to have a tax advantage account that you pay those taxes up front, or that's already worked out. So look into Roth IRAs, look into 401ks. If you are employed and your company matches, it's a great idea to start investing there. And if you're not an employee and you work for yourself, then a Roth IRA is great to consider. Or if you're like me and you're a hybrid entrepreneur, so you at one point you were an employee and a business owner, you can have two separate accounts and just put money in there. So that pretty much wraps it up for all the investment options. There's different reasons behind why you want to invest. Some of them can be wealth management. Some of them can be to obtain wealth. So you move differently when you already have the wealth versus when you're trying to get the wealth. So you're a little bit more aggressive when you're getting the wealth. But once you get the wealth, you have to learn how to manage it and how to keep it. And that's where wealth management comes in. So knowing all these different options for investments is good to know. So once you do get the money, you know exactly how much goes where. Before I go, I want to talk about how your real assets are probably your best investment, because your business is limited by your creativity, but that means it's also unlimited by the amount of creativity, faith, and opportunities that you have in the marketplace. So prepare yourself by saving your money. The best thing to do is to save your money until you know exactly what investment option you want to start with. It's never too early to start retirement, and we all know this by the rule of 72. Based on compound interest, it's better to put $300 a month than to just put like a sum of money. So somebody would be like, well, why can't I just wait till I get rich and then save for retirement? Well, you probably be a lot more wealthier if you start at an earlier age, opposed to putting a lump sum all at one time because of compound interest. So that's why educating yourself, changing your mentality is going to help you attract wealth to your life. This is not like just a idea. Best thing to do is save your money and get disciplined, educate yourself. Best thing to do is educate yourself, change your mentality, and pretty much invest in income producing assets. Look over those options, learn what compound interest is, study the rule of 72, if I was to recommend a place to start investing, Fidelity, and I know I'm not getting paid for that. That's just a very easy way to invest your money. Fidelity.com. They have several different options, different accounts. I have my daughter's custodial account, and I didn't even mention minor accounts. So yes, for majority of the accounts I listed, they have a custodial version of that account, like a custodial IRA. You can open up a retirement account for a minor, and that's how you can pay them if you hire your employee, or if you hire your child as an employee, you can pretty much pay them with using those custodial accounts. So pretty much that sums it up. If you have questions, drop them below. If you need somebody to go over this information with you on a more detailed level, book a one-on-one. A lot of the stuff that I discussed is on YouTube. It's on different platforms, different websites, Investopedia, Google. There's so many ways to learn about investing. You have to take that first step, which is educating yourself and changing your mentality. And if you were told not to trust the stock market, or rich people are evil, then you definitely need to do some work, because we've all heard different myths about money growing up, and it could be limiting your success right now in attracting wealth. And I know this because I've done half the battle. Now that's why I'm currently on my journey to success in attracting wealth in my life. So y'all stay up, stay on y'all money stuff, and stay blessed.
Hi, Reggie.